My name is Natalie, and I have an interview with one of the members of the band Hollywood Undead on January 4th, 2013. First off, Happy New Year and happy late holidays to you.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. Same to you.
Thanks, and you're welcome.
I'm glad they're over.
So how do you think being in LA changes your guys' sound, or does it not change your sound?
Well, I don't think it changed our sound. I think we certainly are heavily influenced by the LA music scene, so I think, those things, are part of your musical consciousness when you're growing up and stuff like that, so I'm sure it indirectly affected it, but I don't think it changes our sound, although we have written songs about LA, which we guess obviously are a direct influence of being here.
Alrighty. What was the inspiration for the album name, Notes from the Underground?
I think it's kind of where we come from musically and collectively. I think as a band, I guess a big part of it is writing songs from, places that most people don't really want to go or experience, and that's always been our attitude as a band, or at least our perception in other people's minds. So I guess that's where the record title came from, is kind of, we're going to show you another side of music or side of life that isn't in your mainstream, the mainstream stuff that's typically made today.
I get it. Can you tell me where the band got its name from?
When we started, before we started, we all grew up in Hollywood or the LA area, and we would just see the people who went out at night to these clubs and just the freak show type thing that we saw, we witnessed growing up, and we used to call those people undead because they would be up all night, all the crackheads and bums and shit. So we used to call them undead, so we were coming up with a title. We wanted Hollywood in it, and we thought, Hollywood Undead, that'd be cool, because I guess we kind of felt like we'd partly become those people,
Exactly. Makes pretty much sense.
Yeah.
How would you describe the overall sound of this new album?
It's certainly a Hollywood Undead record, and then, there's things that we've tried to progress on and get better on, and we always like to, obviously, like any band, we like to think we're getting better at our craft, and we added a couple ballady type songs to this record, and kind of push the envelope a little bit in every way we could. So, it's definitely a Hollywood Undead record, but it's certainly different than either record that came before it. So, it's just a step in a different direction, but still very Hollywood Undead.
Great. Has the band's sound evolved on this release, or no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're always trying to evolve, but not evolve too quickly to the point where people are like, hey, what happened? The band's different than it used to be, You want to make everybody happy, that like the previous records, but at the same time artistically make it different enough to make us happy and keep us engaged and interested. So we certainly experimented some and did some different things, but like I said, it's still very Hollywood Undead. It's just got some different touches on it, some different songwriting styles that those last records, I guess, didn't have.
Oh, I get it, yeah. Can you tell me why you wanted to go and use the whole mask concept and why, you chose this and what it represents for you guys?
Well, when we started, I guess we just didn't want to look like every other band, and there was a big part of it, we wanted some visual representation to the sound, and, where we write from and how we are as a band, we kind of wanted to tear down the divide between us and the audience, or us and the people who make the music and the people who listen to it. And if you keep this kind of anonymous vibe to the whole thing, I think people feel a lot more involved with the band itself, and almost like it could be anybody doing it. And that was kind of the vibe we wanted. And then, just a visual representation that matched I mean, we feel we make pretty progressive music, and we wanted something progressive visually as well to complement it, I guess.
Well, great. I think it's very, creative and unique.
Oh, thank you.
I read online that this new album is more like your first album. Why did you want to return to the original, roots?
Well, I don't think it sounds anything like our first record. I think what we meant by that was kind of strip it down to the basic elements of what the band is, without overproducing. I think it's easy to overproduce songs, especially if you're in a band. You can do too much if you have too much time, you know what I mean? Sometimes songs get their stride and it's perfect, but you have enough time to sit there and keep working on them or whatever, and eventually you can kind of overproduce the tracks. And I think this one, we wanted to keep it stripped and basic, and we wanted to know when the song was actually done as opposed to overworking the songs, which, you can tend to do. So I think that's what we meant by more like the first record.
Great. Did the band have any definite goals that they were shooting for before the recording process even began?
Well, I mean, of course you want to write a good record. I mean, that's first and foremost. And, writing a record is kind of like an adventure. I mean, you really don't know what the process is going to be like, how it's going to come about. And, the goal is always to challenge yourself, to not become satisfied with, certain aspects. You can write a song and be like, oh, it's good enough, or you can write a song and say it's not good enough and keep moving. And I think that's the challenge, because the easy way is obviously just go, okay, we can write songs and hope that people like them, or you can write songs and, make sure that they're the best thing you can possibly do. And that's always the goal. So, we sacrifice our time and efforts to try and make sure at the end of the day that we couldn't have wrote a better record, that it's the best record we could possibly have done.
I get what you mean. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you using any new instrumentation that you've never used before?
Well, no, I mean, we use about every instrument there is, so there's not many we can add unless I start playing the flute or something. So, no, I mean, there's no new instrumentation, but we just expanded, I guess, on the ones that we do use, and, different programming, so on and so forth. We definitely tried to broaden the horizons, but we didn't get too crazy.
Did you feel any pressure to do a follow-up?
We put pressure on ourselves, obviously, but no real outside pressure. I mean, we really, when we go in the studio, we keep to ourselves pretty thoroughly, so that way you don't really run into that too much. But, being on a record label, and there's a lot of people invested in a group, there's a lot of people who care what's going on, but you have to kind of close the door and just do it as a band. Otherwise, if you involve yourself with too many outside parties or outside opinions, there's going to be too much second guessing. So we put plenty of pressure on ourselves to write a good record. We try and keep the outside pressures away from us, so that way, we know we're delivering the record we can, not something that someone else wants or is commercial enough or could sell more. It's just stick with the honest aspects of music.
What are your expectations for this release?
Well, I expected. There's expectations I'd like. Obviously, we'd love to sell a gazillion records. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. We want the record to do well. We want it to be, first and foremost, you try and make your fan base happy, and then hopefully expand on that, and people who may not have listened to you before find something that they like about the band. And that's really the goal, is to keep your fan base happy and hopefully make some new ones along the way. But as far as expectations, I don't expect anything. It could be a massive success or a massive failure. It doesn't, there's once we're done with the record, it's really outside of my hands,
Yeah. What are the plans for you guys for 2013?
Well, a whole lot of touring. We're going to do a lot of touring. We start back out on the road this next week, and we expect to be on the road for the majority of 2013. And obviously, right when we're done with the record, we start right up on the next one. So we're going to be writing and touring and just doing what we got to do. And hopefully expanding our fan base. You know, we're going to play in some different, we're playing in Russia, for instance, and some places we've never been. So we're excited about that and just try and keep growing in the right direction.
Great news.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add or say to the fans out there?
Well, obviously to pick up Notes from the Underground, which comes out January 8th, and come see us on tour, and hope everybody likes the record.